This is the Lorex 4K dual lens outdoor camera, and it has not one, but two lenses. Together, they produce this ultra wide, high resolution panoramic view. And that alone makes it really stand out in the world of home security cameras. But the real question is, does it actually perform, or is it just a gimmick? In this video, I'll break it all down. I'll go through all the standout features of this camera, take a look at some real-world examples of its video quality, check out the Lorex App experience, and wrap it up with some pros and cons, so that by the end, you'll have a good understanding of whether or not this is the right camera for your home security setup. I'm Corey from Security.org. Let's get into it. Let's kick things off talking about the features and the design of the Lorex 4K dual lens outdoor camera. And straight away, it's all about the dual lenses. They work together to create this crazy 180-degree panoramic field of view. And the resolution that it records at is 4096 by 1856. So that's a huge selling point if you're looking to monitor like a really large space, like your backyard, your whole backyard, for example, with just one camera. Physically, it's got that classic Lorex heavy-duty build to it, and it's quite literally heavy. It's 1.7 pounds. So it's definitely built to last, even though it might not be the most beautiful camera that I've ever seen. Also, do keep in mind that this is a wired home security camera. The power cord is about 18 feet long, so you'll want to plan accordingly, making sure that wherever you're going to be placing it, you're going to be able to reach a power outlet with that power cord. Generally speaking, wired cameras do take a little bit more planning, a little bit more effort on the front end for that installation process versus a battery-powered camera. But think about how much time you're going to be saving in the long term. You're not going to be having to recharge the batteries constantly. Now let's move on to the video quality and what the recordings look like on the Lorex 4K dual lens. And in my opinion, the day vision is the star of the show here. At close range, you get a really crisp image of folks moving through your space, but even at farther distances, the detail, it's not bad. And of course, it's impressive to see that east to west 180-degree panoramic view. Just really awesome. Now with the night vision, my results were a bit mixed. While in general the video quality was solid, there did seem to be a sweet spot for the very best image quality when using either the black and white night vision or the spotlight assisted color night vision. And that was at the closer ranges, either to the left or to the right of center. If I stood at close range directly in the center, the camera really struggled to expose correctly. My face was oftentimes completely washed out. To get the best results in your space, you're likely going to have to experiment with both the physical positioning of the camera and the night vision settings in the Lorex app. Because in general, I just found this camera to be much more sensitive than most of the other home security cameras that I've tested. So fine-tuning is key. Speaking of image quality, there is something that's specific to this camera that I think is worth mentioning, and that is the splice distance setting. This setting controls how the two images are merged together to create the panoramic view, but if it's not dialed in correctly, you end up with a pretty noticeable seam that runs down the center of the image. So you'll definitely want to experiment with that setting to get the best image possible. Personally, I was never able to get it to disappear completely, but I did get it to the point where it was barely noticeable. Okay, beyond just video quality, this camera also brings some solid smart detection features. It can distinguish between people, vehicles, pets, and packages, which makes a huge difference in your day-to-day experience. And what I love is that these smart alerts are available without a subscription. So no monthly fees, no locked features, just straightforward functionality. So let's expand on that, because one of the best things about Lorex is the fact that there are no monthly fees. And unlike brands like Ring or Arlo, for example, Lorex doesn't lock any of its features behind a paywall. Yes, the Lorex cameras can sometimes cost a little bit more up front. For example, the Lorex 4K dual lens retails at $250, but in the long run, you're saving money because you're not going to be paying those monthly subscription fees. Why no subscription cost? Well, it's at least in part because Lorex cameras generally use local storage. The Lorex 4K dual lens actually comes with a pre-installed 32 gigabyte micro SD card, and that's where all of your recorded events are stored rather than being stored in the cloud. The camera is even capable of doing continuous recording, so you can literally capture every moment. Now that we've covered storage, let's talk about how you actually interact with this camera and what the experience is like in the Lorex app. Visually, it isn't as flashy as apps from Ring or SimpliSafe, for example, but functionally, it does everything that you need. Searching through your video history is straightforward. You can save clips directly to your phone, and I really like that you can record video in real time as you're watching a live feed in the Lorex app. Customization is also a strong point. For example, you can control how the camera's lights react to specific motion events, really leveraging the power of those built-in spotlights. You can also adjust all sorts of different settings to get the Lorex 4K dual lens to perform exactly the way that you want it to. And while it might be no frills in general, the Lorex app, in my opinion, is really reliable and definitely gets the job done. So after testing the Lorex 4K dual lens, here's what stands out to me as the pros and cons. The biggest pro of this camera has to be its 180-degree panoramic field of view. It's just such a unique perspective. You're not going to get that from other cameras on the market. The fact that there are no monthly fees is another huge plus. You pay once and that's it. And with local storage built right in, you don't have to rely on a cloud subscription service to access your recordings. On the con side, the night vision is a bit finicky with this camera, especially when it comes to exposure at those closer distances. So you're definitely going to make sure that you have this camera positioned correctly to get the best image possible. So that wraps up our review of the Lorex 4K dual lens outdoor camera. If you want to learn more about different Lorex home security devices, be sure to check out our page over on Security.org. I'll link that in the description below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.